Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Al from Haptic Feedback. So, I recently bought the Scuf Reflex FPS controller. I had switched from being a lifelong Xbox console player to a PC player and decided to switch things up completely. So, why would a former Xbox control console player turn his back on his roots and get the Scuf Reflex FPS? Well, stick around, and I'll tell you why as we unbox this together. All right, let's get into it. So here you have it, Scuf Reflex FPS. Now don't let the box fool you. This is the FPS version. They just ship it in the normal Reflex style box. Presentation was great and the packaging was good too. No issues there. So there you have it. Once I opened it up, it was in fact the FPS version. I got the red and black one. Came with this nice little thumbstick guard there. You lift up the controller and behind it you'll see some plastic piece or plastic paper behind it. Not sure if that's some kind of anti-static paper. If you guys know, let me know down below in the comments. But yeah, very light controller. The grips on the back were super nice, very comfortable. Right? No issues, no damages. Quality control was awesome. No problems there. And as we rotate it to the other side, you'll see the triggers and bumpers, along with the remappable paddle button. They got 3 different program sets for you. Now let's check out the digital triggers and bumpers. So hopefully you guys can hear that. But basically the mouse style click with a very short distance of travel. This is one of the main reasons why I got this controller. Pretty awesome. The rest of the buttons are your typical soft touch, little mushy. Your standard kind of controller buttons. And same with the thumbsticks. You just lift up on this little plastic part here, and then you'll find the rest of your goodies. Inside this box, you'll find your braided USB cable for the controller. And 2 additional thumbsticks. For this, there's only one in here. It's just because I unboxed it prior to make sure all the parts were in, that I didn't have to ship it back. But it does come with 2. It comes with a short domed thumbstick and a tall domed thumbstick. On the controller, they have 2 short concaved. So that's all you get additional for the thumbstick. And they're pretty easy to put on. So let's get into that. So installation of this was actually very simple. You don't need to pry anything, poke anything, stab anything, right? There's no need for any of that. These 2 little pieces on the end, there's enough of a gap for you to fit your nail underneath. You just pop it off. It comes off very easily. Pop off the other side. All right, make sure both sides are off. And then you just work it all the way up. Fit the thumbsticks and it comes right off. There's no glue underneath there. It's not difficult at all. Very easy install process. Now, at first I was a little nervous. These thumbsticks are on there pretty good and I wasn't about to rip it off and break it. So I went back to the manual, and according to that, that's basically what you have to do. Just pull a little harder and it'll come off. No issues there. Now, installing the other thumbstick is relatively simple. The only thing is you just got to make sure that you install it in the right way. You'll see here this metal piece is kind of rectangular shaped. All right, so you just need to match it up with the inside of this thumbstick here. Place it over top and just give it enough pressure to make sure it's seated in there properly. Perfect. Nice. So yeah, everything was going smooth, moving around, make sure it was in there. And then all of a sudden this happened. And I was like, now I'm gonna have to send this thing back. It's faulty. I waited this long to get it. Come on, here we go again. So I thought to myself, well, maybe there's some kind of additional plastic that may have gunked up in the inside or on the edges from the production process. You know, sometimes that does happen, but that wasn't the issue. So I tried to take it off, reseat it again. Same thing. Only on the downward it would stick. So here's what I came up with. So if you're having this issue, you take it off, you're like, man, like my controller's broken, I gotta send it back, I gotta get a new one. This really stinks. All you do is just put the faceplates back on. Now you got those two tips at the top. Make sure those slide in. They actually slide in. They can't be on the outside, right? Slide those in and pop it all together. Right, it goes in pretty smooth. And then the right thumbstick no longer sticks. And it's because that faceplate limits the distance that the thumbstick can travel. So you won't run into that issue of it sticking at that far down point. But yeah, ultimately felt really good. Very, very light. I will say, compared to my Elite Series 2 controller, super light. Almost felt cheap, which is a ridiculous thing to say, but you guys know what I mean. But no issues here. These back paddles are very responsive. They're a little bit different than I'm used to because, as you'll see right here, only one finger controls both of them on each side. I won't be able to stick two fingers. Like I keep comparing it to the Elite Series 2 controller. I can have two on both of the back paddles. This just has one. So it's just a learning curve. It may be better, it may be worse. I don't know yet. I just got to give it a little bit more time and figure out how they respond and how it all feels. So after a few hours using the Scuf Reflex FPS and playing a couple of games, here's what I came up with. The thumb placement is actually pretty nice. Obviously, I still want more time with this controller, but I feel like having both hands in the same exact position makes it easier and more comfortable while holding it. The digital triggers are awesome. You could definitely tell the reduction in time while playing first-person shooter games for sure. The back paddles weren't too bad also. Still not sure if I prefer the Elite Series 2 paddles more. Time will tell. The stick drift for this controller is currently non-existent, but that obviously is subject to change. Ultimately, it is a very responsive, comfortable, and well-built controller. I did try out the gyro setting as well, which basically turns the controller into a mouse. Simply put, you move the controller in a direction, and the screen or cursor will move with it. I still got more time to mess with this feature, but the concept is definitely cool. Well, why didn't I go with the Xbox-style Scuf controller? Honestly, I saw the PlayStation-style controller being predominantly used by pro players and avid gamers. So I had to know why this style. Is it more comfortable? Is it more ergonomic? Does it make your reflexes faster? All these questions I need the answer to. I was drawn to the Scuf Reflex FPS for the digital triggers and bumpers, as well as the back paddles. I'd been flipping my trigger settings to the bumpers just to gain that extra response time, and using a claw grip for first-person shooter titles. Playing with the claw grip ultimately led to some annoying wrist and finger issues. I know, right? Suck it up, bro. But I take my health and wellness seriously, so I had to stop doing that. I do love playing RPG-style games as well, but I felt that for me, I didn't need adaptive triggers. I could see that if you play a lot of racing games, maybe adaptive triggers would be important, but if I ever feel that a game requires more of an adaptive trigger, I always have the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller to fall back on. So let's get into some of the negative aspects of this controller, and we'll start off with the price. At $249.99, you're really asking a lot for most enthusiasts who want a good controller. And that doesn't even include tax or shipping, which brings it above $260. And if you see here, $279.96 for like a flat customized color. And then the price starts to go up even more if you start getting into these custom designs, like this dragon design. You got the bliss design, and there's a bunch of them which are super cool. But when you're paying $309.95, as you see in the right-hand corner, top side, it just gets to be a little much. Another issue are the thumbsticks. As I stated before, comes with the two short concave thumbsticks and the additional short dome thumbstick and medium/tall dome thumbstick. Now, it would have been nice if they at least included a medium-tall concave thumbstick. However, I think at this price point, you should have one style of each size. So your small, medium, large in the concave or the dome style thumbstick. And here's another problem I have, which is good news but bad news, is that if you do want that assortment of thumbsticks, you can go back into the website and purchase them from anywhere from $9.99 to $14.99, not including tax or shipping. So if you're looking to get this controller with all the bells and whistles, the customized design on it, and then get some additional thumbsticks, you're going to be looking at right around $323.94, not including tax or shipping. But I digress. So that's what I have to say for the Scuf Reflex FPS. Initially, I will be back to give you a more detailed, long-term opinion of the controller, as well as my comparison to the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller in the near future. I think it's going to be best if I give this a little bit more time, a couple of months, to really formulate a good opinion of it, the quality of the controller, and how its functionality stands up to the test of time. Alright, so that pretty much sums up my unboxing and initial review of the Scuf Reflex FPS. If you have any additional questions that I didn't answer in the video here, just leave them down below in the comments section and I'll get back to you. If you enjoyed the video and found it to be helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and maybe hit that notification bell so when my next review comes out, you'll know. Thanks for hanging in there, and I'll catch you all later.